Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. We're on the record in docket 1400828. That's Credit Acceptance Corporation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alexander Popo appearing on behalf of plaintiff.
All right, and it's Latoya Davis. And ma'am, you are Latoya Davis?
No, I'm not.
Oh. Are you here on this case, ma'am?
Is that the case? No.
Ms. Flanagan, what case are you here on?
Who, me?
No, Ms. Hall, I know you're here. You're here for your 8:30, right, ma'am?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
All right. Yep. Latoya Flanagan, what case are you here on? You're gonna have to unmute, ma'am.
I'm sorry about that. It's 14-00828 GC for credit acceptance.
All right, and we're on. I know credit acceptance is here. I have Latoya Davis as the defendant.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's my maiden name.
Oh, okay. All right. So you go by Flanagan now?
Yes.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 1400828. Mr. Popoff, this is the time set for an objection to set aside payment, which I have an order for, an order on motion to set aside order for installment payments. How did you want to proceed today, Mr. Popoff?
Yeah, Your Honor, we would request that we set aside the installment payment order. The judgment was entered against the defendant on 2/25/22. There was supposed to be an installment payment plan, and we haven't received any payments from the defendant on that order.
Ms. Flanagan, do you have any comment on this? I do have a letter that you wrote in regards to this file. The motion to set aside installment payments is due to the fact that no installments payments have been made.
No installment payments were made simply because I forgot. I lost my father in September and my husband passed away in December of last year. I have had several things that I've been dealing with, and this right here didn't trump the top of my list. Like, I completely forgot about it. I had to make funeral arrangements. I had to pay for headstones. I had to do several things. I have 2 daughters. I had to get them into counseling. I had to get myself into counseling. I had to deal with depression. I had to deal with grief. I had to deal with all of these things that life was throwing at me. And at the time, credit acceptance and paying for this vehicle or whatnot, that didn't trump the top of my list of me remembering the payments. The payments, I initially went in to make the payments. And then, all of these different things started happening. So, I just kind of forgot,
All right. Well, then it doesn't seem that this is disputed. It seems that this was, that the order is disputed. Mr. Popoff, I'm willing to sign the order for, to set aside the installment plans. I'm not sure if you've had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Flanagan concerning resolving some of this recently, but I do find that the motion is valid, although there's reasons for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, Your Honor, I know Ms. Flanagan can call our office at any time to try to set up an arrangement. We'd be more than happy to work with Ms. Flanagan.
All right. Would you be amenable to meeting with Ms. Flanagan in a breakout room today to just start the conversation?
Sure.
Ms. Flanagan, would you be amenable to meeting with Mr. Popoff just to start the conversation? I do find the order on motion to be valid. I'll sign it in regards to days, but that at least would get the conversation going in regards to yourself and Credit Acceptance Corporation.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna have Mr. Popoff and Ms. Flanagan placed in a breakout room. When you come back, you can place whatever happened on the record. I will sign the order today, Mr. Popoff.
Okay, thank you. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know if there's anything else that we'd be putting on the record today, though, Your Honor.
All right, well then, once the parties meet, they're free to leave.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, anything else for the record? Docket 1400828, Mr. Popoff? All right, Ms. Flanagan, anything else?
Can you just explain, like, what does that mean? What you're ordering?
The order I'm setting aside today puts the valid judgment again in order at $10,000, and then it'll go back to no installment payments the way it was before.
Okay, so there's no way that I can just, or would I have to talk to him about that to just?
That's what you'll be talking to Mr. Popoff about today.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ms. Flanagan, and I'll put you in a breakout room with him so you can have that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
She'll have to join that breakout.
And ma'am, there should be a prompt and you should, I think she just did.
And I updated her name in the system, so
Thank you.
anything future will come as Ms. Flanagan.
Thank you so much.
I still have her AKA as Ms. Davis in case there's any question, but
I didn't think there was a question, but it became a question.
If it came in the future, it's still there as her previously done name.
I don't see here's Mr. Meineke. Mr. Meineke, are you ready on 2201789?
Yes, Your Honor. I see Ms. Hall is waiting as well.
All right, thank you. So we're on the record in docket 20-01789 GC, TNT Financial versus Johnny Hall. Will the parties please announce themselves for the record?
Johnny Hall.
Sorry, Ms. Hall. Good morning, Your Honor. James Meineke appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, TNT Financial, Inc.
All right, this is the time set for a pre-trial on this file. Mr. Meineke, how did you want to proceed today?
Your Honor, if I could speak with Ms. Hall in the breakout room, if she's amenable, we see if we can try and resolve this. I've read her answer and it looks like she's of limited income and is looking for some assistance. So I may be able to try and work something out.
Ms. Hall, would you be amenable to meeting with a representative from TNT Financial? I also read your answer and understand some of the circumstances involved in the case. I think a breakout room might be a good idea in order to see if you can work on some of these issues.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna have Mr. Meineke and Ms. Hall placed in a breakout room. And then once you come back, we can put whatever was indicated on the record, all right?
Okay.
All right. Will they have a prompt?
Yeah.
And they're gone, okay. Let's see. Ms. Pereira, you're here for
For Pleasant
Pleasant Grove?
Yep,
All right. And so you're representing Mr. Redmont and Clark Bethune?
yes,
All right. Mr. Box, the lawyer on that case?
yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let's stand by and we'll wait for Pleasant Grove to show up. I don't see him here today.
Hello, I'm in the Zoom.
Ms. Clark, you're here and so is your lawyer. Mr. Bach, who represents Pleasant Grove, is not here yet, ma'am.
Oh,
All right. Ms. Pereira is your lawyer, correct?
yes.
All right. I assumed. So, all right. So let's wait a few minutes and we'll see if Mr. Bach shows up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. So we're on the record in docket 22-00015. That is Pleasant Grove LLC versus Solomon Redmont and Tasani Clark Bethune. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Tasani Clark Bethune.
Redmond.
Go ahead, Mr. Bach.
I'm Ron Bach here for Pleasant Grove LLC.
Okay, Mr. Bach, Ms. Pereira.
Veronica Pereira on behalf of defendants, Your Honor.
All right, and ma'am, you are Tasani Clark.
Yes.
Okay, and you can hear me all right, Miss Clark?
Can you say that again?
You can hear me all right, Miss Clark?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, and is there Solomon Redmont with you?
Yes, he's right here.
Right here.
All right, and Solomon Redmont, you can hear me all right also?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the time set for a motion today, the motion in order to show cause that was brought by I believe that's brought by you, Mr. Bach.
No, sir.
No, sir, it's brought by Ms. Pereira.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pereira, how are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, I did have a chance to speak with Mr. Bach a little bit last week, and we would like to proceed with the motion at this time.
I'm sorry, say it again.
We would like to proceed with the motion at this time.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Plaintiff in this matter sued defendants for non-payment of rent, and a conditional dismissal was entered in that case on June 7th, 2022. Plaintiff was given 30 days to make repairs, and after the 30 days had passed, the repairs still had not been completed. On July 14th, beyond that 30-day window, a red tag was placed on the property, and the defendants were unable to live in the property for a period of about 3 weeks until sufficient repairs were made that the tag could be lifted on August 5th. Still to date, defendants allege that some of the repairs listed in the conditional dismissal have either not been completed or have been half done. And so they are still continuing to live with some of the issues that were that should have been addressed by the conditional dismissal. At this time, defendants are asking that their rent be abated during the period of time that they have had to wait for these repairs to be completed. And when you're Your Honor, both my clients are here to present their testimony whenever Your Honor is ready for that.
All right, so this is a violation of the conditional dismissal. And so you would like a rent abatement.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in regards, do you have a number for the rent abatement?
Yes, Your Honor. So the conditional dismissal provided that Advent House would pay their rent through June, and Advent House was holding on to the rent for July, August, and September until the repairs were completed. That amount was $2,850. And so we're asking at this time that that $2,850 be waived, be abated.
All right, and did you want to put on your clients as proof in regards to your motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, which client would you like to put on first?
Ms. Clark, please.
All right, Ms. Clark, I'm gonna have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, you may proceed, Ms. Pereira.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Clark, can you tell me where you live?
I stay at 4028 Pleasant Grove Road.
And who lives there with you?
My fiance, Solomon Redmond.
Do you have any children that live there with you?
They come here often, yes.
And when did you move into this home?
I moved in December 7th of 2021.
And when you moved in, did you discover any issues regarding the condition of the property?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what those were?
It was the flooring. The flooring was messed up. The stairs were uneven. I fell down them a couple of times. It was something going on with the faucet in the kitchen. It was mold everywhere in the house. Also the tub was leaking from the top floor to the basement, and the basement wasn't fully done yet. It was just leaking. The floor wasn't staying dry downstairs. And the cabinets were falling out of the cabinets. The shelves in the cabinet were falling out.
And mold in them.
And it had mold in them.
It still does. And now.
So can I just stop you for a second? Mr. Redmond, I'm going to ask you to let Ms. Clark answer the questions for now.
Then also the faucet under the sink in the kitchen, it was leaking really bad and we didn't know. And it was molding, it was causing water damage to the wood under the sink. The flooring was unsafe and it still is.
Let me stop you there. When you say it's unsafe, what do you mean by that?
Like, I keep stubbing my toe, like on the flooring in the living room. Still to this day, I keep stubbing my toe, like the floor is going in it's going under, like how it was when we first moved in.
Did you report these various concerns to anyone?
Yes.
Do you remember who?
The manager, Heather.
Okay, and do you remember when you reported those?
I was reporting it to her daily, like, but she wasn't responding back to me.
Okay. Your landlord sued you for non-payment of rent, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. And you entered into a conditional dismissal to resolve that case in June of this year?
yes.
Under that agreement, when was the first time the landlord came to make those repairs?
They came at I want to say in the middle of June. They started in the middle of June, close to the end of it. They started making the repairs.
Okay. And did the home become red tagged at some point?
Yes, it did. It became red tag at the beginning of July.
Okay. And were you able to live there during that time?
No, not at all.
What did you do during that time when you weren't able to live there?
I slept in my truck.
Okay. And how long was it before you were able to move back in?
About 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about some specific items in the conditional dismissal. So the first item is letter A, repairing and completing the flooring in the kitchen and the living room. Can you tell me if that has been completed?
It was completed, but then that we told them that the flooring was messing up again, and they were supposed to send somebody out here to refix it, but they didn't do it at all. They didn't even do it right. The second time they came out, he checked it and didn't do anything about it either.
And when you say messing up again, can you tell me what you mean by that?
The flooring in the kitchen is coming up and it's ripping in some parts. In the living room, the towels that they put in the living room, in the dining room, it looks like they're denting in again, like how it was the first time we moved in.
Item B in the conditional dismissal is repairing the window in the living room and the bedroom window, which is boarded up. Can you tell me if those things got completed?
The window in the living room got completed by them, and the window on the side got completed by us.
And how did it come that you did the window on the side?
They weren't really trying to take the board off the window or anything. The maintenance man wasn't, because he didn't know what to do with it, I guess. And so we just ended up taking the board off the window ourselves.
Letter C was provide peroxide and spray bottles for mold remediation. Can you tell me if that happened?
They provided them, but they took them back. We never even got to use them.
Okay. Item E is repair the water damage under the kitchen sink. Can you tell me about that?
They did not repair it. It's still leaking under the sink, and I clean it up. Like, I have to clean it up every day because I don't want to slip and hurt myself.
Letter G is repair the stovetop. Can you tell me if that got completed?
It got completed, but the stove, the electric in the house, I guess, I'm not sure what's going on with it, but one side of the stove stopped working completely.
Okay. Item H in the conditional dismissal is remove the washer, dryer, and entertainment set. Can you tell me if that got completed?
They removed the washer and dryer, but we removed the entertainment set.
How did it come that you moved the entertainment set?
We had to break it down. And take it to the dump site.
Okay. Letter I is about electrical. It says repair and inspect the electrical wiring, including the outlet for the stove, the dining room, and the living room. Can you tell me if those got completed?
Not the wiring for the stove. The dining room, it started working by itself. They didn't fix that. The one in the living room, it just doesn't work at all.
Okay. Letter J is supply paint for the tenants to use in the home. Did that occur?
Can you say that again?
supply paint for the tenants to use in the home?
They supplied a little paint, but they didn't give us the rest of the paint to paint the rest of the house. We only did one room.
Your Honor, do I have permission to share screen so that I can share a photo?
Has opposing counsel been able to have the opportunity to see the photo?
Your Honor, I believe that I sent it to him a couple of weeks ago, but to be honest, I would need to double check. These would be photos
Then,
of flooring.
do you have? There seems to be some exhibits here that I'm not sure everybody has seen, because I know Mr. Bach has some of the exhibits. So what I'm going to do is I'll let if Mr. Bach has an objection, then we'll wait on the exhibit until everybody gets to see it. I've got a feeling that we're probably at the front part of this hearing, that it's going to go a little longer than I thought. And so this is probably looking at somewhat of an adjournment, just to stay within confines. But since we have witnesses here, or some witnesses, we should get started. Mr. Bach, do you have any objection? And if you can see it and then know that the court's going to take some time, and then you'll get a full copy of it to cross-examine on. I might wait to have you cross-examine the witnesses to a later date.
That is fine, Your Honor, because I know that I have pictures that she hasn't seen, although I have shared some. I don't think I've gotten any from her yet.
All right.
But either way, I have the maintenance guy and the manager here.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and wait on that. Let's take the testimony. I'm probably going to adjourn after direct examination, since you have both your clients here, and allow you to share some photos, and then set this for an afternoon date that we can really dive into the testimony.
Okay, that sounds good, Your Honor.
All right, because this is more than just a motion now. We're having a hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So any further questions, Ms. Pereira, Ms. Clark?
Just a couple, Your Honor.
All right.
Ms. Clark, have you signed or initialed any documents relating to the work being completed?
No.
Okay. And since the red tag was lifted, has the landlord come back to make any further repairs?
No.
Okay. And what are you asking the court to do today?
I'm asking the court to at least take off rent, or come and repair. That's all I want. It's either the repairments or take the rent off. That's really all I'm really asking for. I have 4 children that I'm trying to get.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Clark. I have no further questions for Ms. Clark.
All right, let's do this. It's 9:05. Let's hold off on. Were you going to call Mr. Redmond in regards to your in regards to the motion, Ms. Pereira?
No, Your Honor. I think his testimony would be
all right.
Duplicative.
I think what I'd like to do is give Mr. Bach an opportunity to cross-examine Ms. Clark, but let's do that after everything's been shared with photos, and we can reset it for an afternoon date and do it live, and have everybody come in here. So Mr. Bach's cross-examination is live. I'll allow you to redirect a little bit. I made pretty good notes in Ms. Clark's testimony, but just to refresh us, as far as testimony goes, is that acceptable to you, Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Okay. Do it. I think we should set some time aside for a hearing here. There's going to be some exhibits, and then you should share exhibits with Ms. Pereira, which I know both of you would be willing to do. Ms. Pereira, how does that sound to adjourn this for a full-blown hearing and have some direct and cross, so that the court can make a decision concerning this motion?
That sounds fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any idea of a day, how long a date? And I know I'm working with both your calendars, but probably I would say an afternoon, most likely a Tuesday afternoon.
I'm usually pretty open on Tuesdays. So other than today, I can make pretty much any Tuesday work.
All right. So I would think maybe I'm kind of looking at how far out for a hearing in this. I'd like to make it sooner than later, because I know that this,
The 11th or the 18th are the next 2 Tuesdays.
All right. So the 11th or the 18th.
Not the 11th.
Okay. So let's do the 18th. Okay. So let's reset for a hearing on the motion for a hearing on motion for October 18th, 2022. What time? 2:30. And that'll give us some time. So that'll be live in person, Ms. Clark and Mr. Redmont, live in person. It appears Ms. Clark's going to be the directing cross. You indicated you did not plan on calling Mr. Redmont, but he should be here as a party of the litigation. And then we'll go into Mr. Bach's proofs. And of course, Ms. Pereira, you can cross-examine any witness you have that you need to in regards to those proofs. So we've started the hearing. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more extensive than we thought. So October 18th, 2022. Anything else, Mr. Bach, for the record?
No, I think this was a eviction based on failure to pay rent.
Right.
We filed it. There was a conditional dismissal, which had a bunch of things. Our clients believed everything was done. They haven't heard from the tenant since, so they had no reason to believe things had acted up since then. The stove was replaced. There's a lot of work that was done. They've been very difficult to work with getting access, having to clean up their garbage in order to do the work. There was a fire which burned siding off the garage. Lots of things.
All right.
So there's no clean hands anywhere here.
Right.
So if there was things acting up, we haven't heard a peep from them. I got an email yesterday at 5:45. This is the first time where we know what they're even complaining of. So I don't know how we can even be here. We didn't know.
All right.
Maintenance guy was there. He did all the work.
So by October 18th, Ms. Pereira and Mr. Bach, if you want to talk about some of these issues concerning some of what Pleasant Grove know and didn't know. It sounded like to me from Ms. Clark that she wants to make sure these issues are resolved along, in regards to payment or issues being resolved. Regardless, understand on October 18th, if we're not able to resolve these issues, I'll just take the evidence and make a decision, all right, on that date. So that the October 18th date is going to be treated as a formal hearing of some sort because we're taking direct examination and cross-examination. Anything else for the record, Ms. Pereira?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, I'll leave it to counsel to contact one another and work out any issues concerning exhibits and showing exhibits, etc. So I'll see everybody back here live on October 18th. That's all for the record of this file.
We have a time.
2:30. 2:30.
2:30. We gotta go here in person.
All right, you're free to leave the Zoom room, Ms. Pereira, Ms. Clark. Thank you for your appearance, Mr. Bach.
Thank
Thank you.
That's what time to go to the dentist. 2:30.
But I can't put the notes.
They have to assign it to my printer.
Pardon me?
My printer's 21.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah, we can pick ones. No.
I've got it in there.
all right, perfect.
I
So
put-
that'll probably be a little bit more involved than we initially thought.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
had everything
That's all right.
scheduled and
Let's,
everything, I just couldn't print out.
yeah, let's just put it where a place where we can give it appropriate time. All right, we'll see you, Mr. Bach. Ms. Hagenlorf, we're not gonna make you sit through the whole hearing, okay?
However you want to proceed, Your Honor.
We're not back on the record, 22-01789. Mr. Meineke, if you had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Hall in a breakout room?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, we did. We've reached a resolution we need to put on the record in this matter.
Perfect, thank you.
Your Honor, the parties have agreed to a conditional dismissal, a stipulation to dismiss subject to reinstatement. It calls for Ms. Hall to pay the amount of $6,000 in monthly installments of $25 per month beginning on November 10th, 2022. Those payments will be made without interest on it so long as the payments are made on time. Those payments are to begin on November 10th, 2022. In the event that a payment is more than 30 days past due, TNT may file a motion with this court and request a judgment in the amount of any unpaid remaining balance of the settlement amount. The TNT would be able to recover their court costs in this matter, which would be a filing fee, service fee, motion fee, and recover post-judgment interest on that account at 13% per annum.
And Ms. Hall, that's your understanding of the conditional dismissal, those, what Mr. Meineke stated on the record today?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Meineke, are you going to submit that to Ms. Hall for signature? You're going, or does she, do you have her permission to sign it on her behalf?
No, Judge, I'm going to email her a copy of the order and confirm that she agrees with the terms before we submit it to the court. So I just need some time to get it signed and back to you guys.
All right, perfect. So Ms. Hall, I'll sign the order once you review it and it goes back to Mr. Meineke, and then it'll be submitted to the court. But you understand the nature of the conditional dismissal that's placed on the record.
Yes.
All right. So I'll await the order to be followed up by you, Mr. Meineke.
Will do, Judge. All right, thank you.
All right. Is there anything else for the record in docket 22-01789, Mr. Meineke?
Nothing for the plaintiff, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Hall.
No, thank you.
All right, that's all for the record in docket 22-01789. Thank you for your appearance. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom.
Thank you.
Judge. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
That motion was a little bit more than we anticipated. So we're gonna be a little bit more. But now we're right on schedule again. Now I'm comfortable.
We'll have to reset Mr. Davis. I'm Lincoln.
He's in Eaton County. Mr. Davis. I'm not sure why we have. Let's go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Blurry.
Can you hear me?
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. I'm just make sure this is working. Sorry.
Okay.
Are you Lauren Jones, ma'am?
I am. Sorry.
All right, you're in the right place. You're here for your 9 o'clock.
Yes.
All right, and then Mr. O'Keefe, you're here for Miss Brown at 9 o'clock.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and is Miss Brown in your office or is she coming?
Yeah, she's in the office. She's just right out in the lobby. So,
All right, give us about 2 minutes to make some notes from the previous hearings, and we'll start with yours, Mr. O'Keefe.
all right, it's no problem. I'm still negotiating with Miss Hagan Lawrence. So,
All right. All right, Mr. O'Keefe, we're ready to go on your file. That's docket 22-01733. That's City of Lansing versus Emily Brown. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Good morning, Your Honor. Patrick O'Keefe on behalf of Miss Brown, who is sitting to my left.
All right, ma'am, you are Emily Brown?
I am.
Okay, and you can hear me all right, Miss Brown?
I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Just the time set for a pretrial, and just my indication is that this is the third pretrial that has been set. Ms. Hagan Lawrence, how are we proceeding today? You indicated that an offer was made in the case.
Yes, Your Honor, I have extended an offer to Mr. O'Keefe. I don't know if he needs or wants to discuss it further in a breakout room or if he's ready to proceed. So I would defer to him on this one.
Your Honor, we've been negotiating over the last 12 hours or so. It's been, let me talk to my client first, and then I think we just have another offer that came through. So I think we're getting close to a deal. If you give me like 5 minutes with her.
Perfect, yeah.
All
All right, so we'll stand by and put the file and let you talk to your client, and then you come back and let us know what's going on.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. How about, have you, Mr. Hicks?
I am prepared on Mr.
All
Hicks.
right. So let's go on the record in docket 18G4218673. That City of Lansing versus Robert Baron Hicks. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
And sir, you are Robert Hicks?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Hicks?
Yes, I can.
All right, this is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Hagan Lawrence, how we proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. My records indicate that Ms. Sutter represents Mr. Hicks on this file. I know she is covering for somebody else today, and so Ms. Robinson is covering for Ms. Sutter. Therefore, I would prefer to wait until she's
I would agree.
available. Okay.
So is that your understanding, Mr. Hicks, that Ms. Robinson is covering for Ms. Sutter today?
Yes, it is.
All right, and she jumped into the Zoom courtroom, but I'm assuming she had to be in other courtrooms. So let's stand by in your case until we have the opportunity for Ms. Robinson to be here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Stand by on that. Oh, there she is right now. So Ms. Robinson, are you here on Mr. Hicks' file?
I am, and we're ready to go on that.
All right, and we started, and then I recognized that you were covering Ms. Sutter's cases. So your appearance for the record on that file 18G4218673.
Erin Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Hicks.
All right, Ms. Hagan Lawrence, how do you want to proceed today?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Sutter on this matter, and Mr. Hicks has complied with my requests. So at this time, the city moves to dismiss, and we will not be reissuing.
All right, so you'll move to dismiss with prejudice?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And that's your understanding, Ms. Robinson?
It is. No objection.
All right, Mr. Hicks, my understanding today is the city's moving to dismiss with prejudice, which means they will not be bringing, there's no possibility of the case being brought back. So the case is dismissed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom. How about Miss?
We're ready on Ms. Jones as well.
All right, Miss Robinson, we're ready to go on Miss Jones. I'll
Correct.
indicate those tickets for the record as 22L273-9621, 22L273-9622, and 22L273-9623. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Karen Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Ms. Jones.
And this is the time set for a pre-trial on 3 charges on 1 ticket. Ms. Hagan Lawrence, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Robinson about this case. At this time, I have extended an offer. It is my understanding that her client wishes to accept. Ms. Jones will accept responsibility to both civil infractions, so the no proof of insurance and the expired plates. In return, the city dismisses the misdemeanor fail to display an operator's license.
Responsibility on no insurance. Display. And then dismiss the misdemeanor. And what are the fines on the no proof? Looking at my fine sheet.
I believe those are both standard fines set by the court.
Okay, so $130 on each of those. And any point, anything from the Secretary of State?
There are 0 points associated with both civil infractions.
All right, Ms. Robinson, is that your understanding of the offer and resolution is that your client or yourself, you can admit through your client, will be admitting to the 2 civil infractions, and with a agreed to the 2 civil infractions and their associated fines, the misdemeanor expired plate is to be dismissed?
That is correct.
All right. And since Miss Jones is on the phone, will you accept responsibility on behalf of Miss Jones?
I will. And just to be clear for the record, I believe the misdemeanor to be dismissed is the failure to display ops.
Let's see. I have failed to display a valid license is the misdemeanor, and the expired plate is a civil infraction.
Correct.
Correct. All right. Thank you for that. So let me make sure the ROAs. And Ms. Jones, that's your understanding that Ms. Robinson will be admitting responsibility on your behalf to both of these civil infractions?
Yes.
All right. And then for clarification, Ms. Hagan Lawrence, it is the fail to display a valid license, which is the misdemeanor that's going to be dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, just so I'll go at the 1 civil infraction at a time. The ticket reads on the expired plate that on South Cedar at Miller on or about July 20th, 2022, in violation of 402.03, that Lauren Jones drove with an expired plate. You're admitting responsibility to that on behalf of your client, Ms. Robinson?
I am.
All right, and in the second aspect of driving without insurance on July 20th, 22 at the South Cedar Miller location in violation of 402.03, you're admitting responsibility that your client drove without proof of insurance?
I do.
All right, thank you. With a admission of responsibility to both of those civil infractions, the misdemeanor is dismissed. And then does your client need some time to pay those? It's $130 per ticket. So does she need some time to pay that to the city of Lansing?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could get about 45 days, that would be great.
All right. So 45 days to pay both tickets. This $130 ticket on was 22 L2739623, and then 45 days on for $130 ticket on 22 L2739622. And so, Ms. Jones, you know that you can pay that to the city of Lansing online, in person, or by phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Anything else for the record in docket on any three of these tickets, 9621, 22, or 23, from people from the city of Lansing?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Jones, you're all set. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom, okay?
Yep, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Great. And then Judge, can I get a breakout room with Mr. Lovelace as well? Thank you.
Yes. So I'll have Ms. Jones, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have Ms. Robinson and Mr. Lovelace placed in a breakout room. And I believe we're back on the record in 22-01733. That's City of Lansing versus Emily Brown. Mr. O'Keefe, have you had the opportunity to converse with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, and my client is ready to enter a guilty plea. And we have an advice of rights coming over at this moment.
Okay. And I'll walk them through the advice of rights also, but the plea offer for the record?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is to amend the high BAC to an OWI .08.
That's correct, Your Honor. Originally there was a sentencing agreement for a kilobrew of no upfront jail. I didn't get a chance to ask Ms. Hagan if that's included or if that's not included due to the charge reduction.
I was not intending to include that as part of our conversation. But if you want to talk about it, we can go in a breakout room real quick.
Okay.
Did you want to meet with Ms. Hagan Lawrence in a breakout room?
Sure. Yes, I apologize, Your Honor.
No, you're fine, Mr. O'Keefe.
All right.
So as soon as Ms. Hagan Lawrence applies, we'll put yourself and Ms. Hagan Lawrence in a breakout room.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Join.
Hello.
Way. Ms. Way, are you there?
Yes, sir. I apologize.
All right, no worries. You're here for your 9:30, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Or yes, sir.
All right, so stand by. We've got the city attorney in a breakout room, and we'll get to your case in roughly 5-10 minutes, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. O'Keefe, you had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Hagan Lawrence in a breakout room?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
All right, and so once again, Ms. Hagan Lawrence, for the record, the offer will be to amend the high BAC to a regular drunk driving of 93 days and or $500 pursuant to 257.625. I can't remember, there's a parent there after that. And then you were gonna have, you had a discussion concerning any further Killebrew agreements.
Yes, Your Honor, I did have a discussion with Mr. O'Keefe, and there is no further Killebrew agreement on this file.
That's correct, Your Honor. Ms. Hagan Lawrence was kind enough to explain to me that because the charge is being reduced, there will be no sentencing agreement. As of 10 minutes ago, the plea offer was a little different. It was plea to the charge with a Killebrew for no upfront jail. So I did have time to explain that to my client. She understands that there is a charge reduction here to a straight OWI, and its parents 1A, for the record, by the way, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Too many PAT codes over the years. So
I know.
She's ready.
You and I both know that.
Yeah, it's like so she's ready to accept the plea offer of plea to a straight OWI, dismiss the high BAC. And then we also discussed if there's restitution, there was some property damage, I think the city property. Ms. Brown would be willing to pay restitution for any property damage as well. And that is the full extent of the plea offer, no sentencing agreement.
All right, thank you. May I inquire of your client of her advice of rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Brown, you understand that the city is amending the information to amend it to a count of regular drunk driving or not the high BAC. That's a 93-day misdemeanor and or $500 pursuant to 257.625 parents 1, parents A. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the maximum penalty the court could impose is 93 days and or $500. That would be after pre-sentence report is done in regards to this file. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and if you plead guilty today, you'll be giving up certain rights, trial rights, and I'm going to walk you through those trial rights that you'll be waiving in order to plead guilty. All right, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, you have the right to be tried by a jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have a prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have the witnesses against you appear at trial. You have the right to have to question those witnesses against you. You, of course, are represented by Attorney Patrick O'Keefe. He could cross-examine any witnesses at trial, and he could contest any charges brought against you by the city of Lansing. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to have the court order any witnesses in your defense to be brought to trial and testify on your behalf. You have the right to remain silent during the trial. You have the right not to have that silence used against you in a court of law. And you have the right to testify at trial if you choose to testify. Briefly stated, if you plead guilty, if your guilty plea is accepted, you will give up the claim that the plea was a result of any promises, threats, or that it was not your choice to plead guilty, other than the plea agreement that's already been discussed. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
You'd also be giving up any rights that would come in regards to trial because you are pleading guilty. You won't have a trial in this case. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is it your wish today to waive those rights and plead guilty to the misdemeanor charge of regular drunk driving?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, I'm going to bring your attention to January 28th of 2022 at the offense location of 3310 Colchester Road, City of Lansing, Michigan. Ma'am, were you operating a vehicle on that date at that time in the city of Lansing in a place generally open to the general public?
Yes.
All right. And why don't you tell me in your own words why you're guilty of this offense?
I was driving with an alcohol content that was higher than is allowed by law.
Okay, so you were driving in the city of Lansing, and at the time you were driving, you had a blood alcohol level of at least over 0.08 or 0.10 in violation of 257625.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any questions about the factual basis, Ms. Hagan Lawrence?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions about the factual basis, Mr. O'Keefe?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I find your plea to be understanding, voluntarily, and accurately made. I'm going to refer this to probation, and I'll give you a time certain. So today is Tuesday. So refer to probation by Thursday at 5. And that would be at the City of Lansing Probation Department. And what they're going to do is they're going to prepare a report so I can read through the report. And then there's an indication, since there's no sentence agreement, of how we will approach sentencing and what options we have available to us. All right, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And the probation department's on the 5th floor of the City Hall building. And a sentencing date will be set for
Tuesday, November 29th at 1:30.
Tuesday, November 29th at 1:30.
Your Honor, I've got a big federal trial that starts that day, and
All right.
it's really gonna go. It's with Mary Chartier's co-counsel. If that
All
tells
right. Do you have a, so let's go after that. I think
All right.
it would probably be the safest bet.
Yes.
Do you expect that to go longer than a week, Mr. O'Keefe?
It could. It's a really complex wire fraud case, so it could potentially go longer than a week. So I think
Let's do December 12th.
all right.
Yeah. December 12th at 1:30.
Yes.
Perfect.
Do you want us
All
there
right, ma'am,
live?
Go ahead, Mr. O'Keefe.
Do you want us there live, Your Honor?
I don't necessarily, if I do, I'll tell you right now, Zoom is fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think Zoom for sentencing on this traditional drunk driving is fine. But ma'am, you should be back here December 12th at 1:30. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else for the record from the city in docket 22-01733?
No, thank you.
Anything, Mr. O'Keefe?
No, thanks for your patience, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. Have a nice day.
Thanks. You
You're
too.
all set.
All right. Thanks.
All right, so we're ready on docket 22L2738951 and 8952. That's City of Lansing versus Charles Thomas Lovelace. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Lovelace.
And sir, you are Charles Lovelace?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Lovelace?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Hagan Lawrence, is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. How are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Robinson and see some paperwork from Mr. Lovelace. At this time, the city has extended an offer, which I understand will be accepted. The offer is to amend file ending in 5-1, which is the expired license, to impeding traffic. That's MCL 257.676B. The city will dismiss expired plates.
And impeding traffic is a misdemeanor or civil
It's
infraction?
a 0-point non-obstructable civil infraction.
And so the fine on that is the typical fine of $130.
I believe so,
All
yes,
right.
Your Honor.
So so the file ending in 5-1 will be amended to impeding traffic. And then the file ending in 5-2, how is that resolved as part of the offer?
It will be dismissed as part of the global resolution on this file, on this ticket.
All right, Ms. Robinson, is that your understanding that your client, Mr. Lovelace, will be admitted in responsibility to the civil infraction of impeding traffic, which is the amendment to the expired license under 257.676B, that being a 0-point offense and a $130 fine?
That's correct.
All right. And will you be accepting responsibility for the civil infraction, or will your client be accepting? All right. And Mr. Lovelace, that's your understanding after hearing all the lawyers talk?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna bring your attention, just so we're on the same page. Let me find the ticket. There we go. Bring your attention, July 21st, 2022, at the location of Pennsylvania and Mount Hope. The ticket is amended to an impeding traffic under 257.67B. And on that date and on that time, Ms. Robinson, you are accepting responsibility to the civil infraction on behalf of your client?
I am.
All right, thank you. With that understanding, the misdemeanor expired plate ticket is dismissed as part of a resolution. The court finds the fine to be $130 as set by the City of Lansing. Ms. Robinson, does your client need some time to make that payment?
I believe so. How much time do you think you need, Mr. Lovelace?
Probably 35 days.
30 days will work. So 30 days to pay a $130 fine. And sir, you can make that payment at the City of Lansing 6th floor criminal division counter, online, or by phone. Okay, sir?
All right.
All right. Anything else for the record in either one of these files, 22L2738952 or 22L2738951 from the city?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Lovelace, you're free to leave the Zoom courtroom. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson, is your client Mr. Malcolm? Is that a Miss Sutter client?
No, it's my case, Judge.
All right. All right. I'm gonna place Mr. Malcolm at the end of the day, and then we can see if the moment I'll call him, he'll show up, so. And Miss Robinson, do you have Mr. Miller on your caseload?
I don't. It looks like, I don't believe that he applied, but let me just double
I
check.
think he did apply, but then I don't know if a decision was made on him.
He's not even in my system, so that means that an application was never received. If you want, Judge, I'm happy to fill out an application today with him.
Yeah, I can put him in a breakout room and you can talk to him. He was under the impression that he did apply. We had him, but I'm not sure if that was indicative, but I know that we spoke about him applying at the public defender's office on September 13th. But if you can meet with him, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to have Mr. Miller put on an iPad. And then I'm going to place you in a breakout room with Ms. Robinson from the public defender's office. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Way, are you represented by attorney Bridget James?
She's
Gidget. All right. She just joined us. So I'm going to admit her in. Ms. James, you're here on the Lauren Way case?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Would you like to speak with the Assistant Deputy City Attorney concerning that file?
I would, please.
All right. All right. I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. Hagan Lawrence in the next minute or so.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for your patience this morning. I was in front of Ms. Simmons, Judge Simmons.
No worries. No worries.
Thank you.
So we're on the record in docket 20-03104, the City of Lansing versus Lauren Way. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Good morning, Your Honor. Gidget James appearing on behalf of Lauren Way, who should also be present by Zoom.
And ma'am,
Yes.
you are Lauren Way,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you can hear me all right, Miss Way?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Hagan Lawrence, this is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. How are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the first pretrial in this case. I know that Ms. James has received some of the video. There's a question of if she's received all of that. It was requested directly through LPD. I did not have an appearance and demand in my file, so she has not received the police report yet. At this time, we'd be requesting an adjournment of 30 days for her to get that information, review it, and then convey the offer that I've made to her client.
All right, so this is adjournment for a second pretrial for discovery purposes for 30 days. Is that your understanding, Ms. James?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, so I'll get a second pretrial date with 30 days for discovery purposes. So we're just getting a date, Ms. James, so.
I'm trying to find it.
I know, it's okay.
Ordinance non-jury.
Right.
November 15th at 9 o'clock.
November 15th at 9 a.m. will be the time set for a second pretrial adjourned for this date for discovery purposes. And then Ms. James, you plan to file an appearance in this case, correct?
Yes, absolutely, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else for the record on docket 20-03104 from the city?
No, thank you.
All right, Ms. James and Ms. Way, you'll be back in the court on November 15th at 9 a.m.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. And
Thank you. That's
thank
all
you
for the
once again.
record. 20.
Sorry
Go
about
ahead.
that. I was just going to say thank you again for your patience this morning.
No worries, no worries. That's all for the record in 20-03104. Ms. Way, please keep in contact with your attorney, Bridget James, if you have any questions, all right? You're free to leave the courtroom. Thank you, Ms. Way. I think she's
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Robinson, did you have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Miller?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Are we ready to go on the record on that file?
We can.
All right, Mr. Miller, you can come on up. So we're on the record in docket 093609, 3609. City of Lansing versus Richard Miller. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender, helping out Mr. Miller today for purposes of this hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. And you are Richard Miller?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Hagan Lawrence, how are we proceeding today at this pretrial?
Thank you, Your Honor. I had an opportunity to briefly confer with Ms. Robinson about this matter. At this time, we'd request that this be set for a final pretrial. For the record, the victim will be subpoenaed and should appear. It's my understanding that that's the only individual that needs a subpoena.
All right.
But yeah, final pretrial at this point.
All right. Is that your understanding, Ms. Robinson, after some conversations? And I know you're kind of filling in because it's not officially on your caseload, but we'll set it for final pretrial and the victim will be subpoenaed.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, Mr. Miller, that's your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So final pretrial date, and we'll just set it for final pretrial. We won't set it for both final pretrial and jury trial.
How far out are you looking?
What do you think, Ms. Hagan-Lawrence?
How much time?
I just want to make sure that we have enough time to get the victim subpoenaed. So I request our standard 30 days.
30 days, yeah.
Monday, November 7th at 8:30.
So statute day.
That's a statute day. Well, let's try that again. I went with final pretrial. So let's do this.
You can do the first.
Do the first.
That's why for exams.
Can you pick it?
How about I don't want to make it too long, but
The 15th day is still
let's do the 15th then.
the 15th at 8:30.
So November 15th at 8:30. We tried the 8th, but it's blocked off for prelims at this point. And I know what it is. It's a murder prelim that was set, and we've taken the whole day for that murder prelim. I forgot that. We did, that's a double homicide that we set on that date. So November 15th at, do we have a time for that? 8:30? All right. So we'll set this on November 15th at 8:30 for final pretrial. CV is to be subpoenaed. Anything else for the record, Ms. Hagan-Lawrence, on docket 0903-609?
No, thank you.
Anything, Ms. Robinson?
Can you tell me what the bond conditions are?
It's a 300 PR and the bond conditions are, let me get this right. No alcohol or drugs, no out-of-state travel, and no firearms.
Okay.
And no medical marijuana.
Judge, can we remove the out-of-state travel requirement? He's actually from California, and so that's where he lives. He's staying with relatives right now to meet that requirement. But I mean, this is a 2009 case, and so he'd like to get back to work and living.
Do you have any objection from the city?
No objection to a Zoom appearance for that final
Okay.
pretrial, Your Honor.
So I'm going to lift the out-of-state travel order. And I am going to, so we'll allow a Zoom appearance on the pretrial. Just in case you're working at that time, that'll make it, just understand there's a 3-hour difference. Anything else for the city?
Just briefly, so I know I'm getting the correct information out with the subpoena. May my victim also appear via Zoom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else for the record, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're all set, Mr. Miller. We'll see you back here on November 15th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Through Zoom. All right,
Appreciate
thank you. You too. I think you're all set.
Is that iPad out of room still, sir?
The iPad?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yes, take care now.
You too.
And I think that's it for me, Judge, unless you need anything else.
I think you're all set, Ms. Robinson. Thank you for
Other
your
than
help today.
Mr. Malcolm, I'm sorry, did you want to do that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, let's do Mr. Malcolm. Thank you.
Good catch.
No, I put that aside for a reason. All right, so we're on the record in docket 18L2237552, City of Lansing versus Robbie Malcolm. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy City Attorney Lisa Hagan Lawrence appearing on behalf of the city of Lansing.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Ms. Miller, or for Ms. Malcolm for purposes of this hearing.
All right, so this is the time, this was initially set at 9 o'clock. It's now 10:07. It appears that Miss Malcolm is not in the Zoom courtroom. There's nobody in the courtroom. Ms. Hagan Lawrence, how would you like to proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. This appears to be the defendant's first failure to appear. So at this time, the city would request a bench warrant, bond forfeiture with a 48-hour hold.
Any comment on that, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I find the defendants failed to appear. We'll do a bench warrant bond forfeiture with a 48-hour hold on that. Anything else from the city? Ms. Hagan Lawrence?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're all set. Thank you, everybody, for your appearance. Ms. Robinson, thanks for your help today.
No problem. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.